Hey there, I wanted to make another video for you to launch the beginning of next week. I cannot believe that it is our third, we're getting ready to start our third week together. You guys have just been rocking the experience. The accountability and the community that you're bringing together in the Facebook group is amazing, and you are rocking tracking your macros. I'm so proud of each and every one of you. Remember, we're practicing progress over perfection, and that means that if you're tracking your macros this week and you were not tracking them last week, you are making progress. If you are practicing intermittent fasting and whole food nutrition and you weren't doing that 3 weeks ago, you are making progress. And so I really hope that you're taking the time daily, every other day, even on a weekly basis, to just reflect and think about how you feel, how your sleeping is, how are your cravings, how your clothes are fitting, what your energy level is like, what your mood is like, because there are so many more benefits that come to the Faster Way experience than just losing inches and pounds. And so I want to just take a moment to remind you of that. After our third week together, we're really going to be focusing on mindset and how to look at things differently. But I think it's important to start out just with that reflection piece. So that was number one. Number two, I know that this is getting ready to be a holiday weekend. I am going to the lake tomorrow. I'm sure that since some of the restrictions have been lifted, you may be cooking out outside with some friends or with some family members. And so I just want to encourage you, if that is the case, to make a plan. You can still practice progress over perfection by enjoying cookouts and times together with friends and family. So my plan or goals that I have for myself are that I can still intermittent fast while I'm at the lake. I can still eat whole food nutrition because I am packing my food for the day. And I'm going to enjoy my time with my friends and with my family. So I may not be tracking my food in MyFitnessPal. I don't know. That's not a goal that I have for myself tomorrow. But I'm going to be feel successful at the end of the day, knowing that I practice intermittent fasting and that I've fed my body with whole food nutrition. I'm not going to beat myself up about the things that I have, if I've, gotten enough protein or carbs. That is the part of the Faster Way that makes this a lifestyle experience and a lifestyle change and something that's sustainable. We don't want you to be putting into practice something that you're going to be doing for the next 6 weeks, and then you can't wait for it to be over and you go back to your old habits and your old ways. Okay, we want to be giving you all the tools that you need in your toolbox in order to continue living this lifestyle. I saw amazing results and I felt amazing results through my first 6 weeks. But now that I am entering weeks 12, 13, and 14, guys, I can't tell you how much of a difference I'm seeing in my sleep, in the bloating, in my digestion, just my overall health. My migraines and headaches are completely gone. I had dairy one time, and the very next morning I woke up with a migraine. So I have completely learned to stay away from it, and you're not going to have any migraines. So if you are going somewhere this weekend, I want you to set a goal for yourself and share it with us, or share it with a family member who can help you stay accountable. And speaking about accountability, I just want to encourage you to continue posting your MyFitnessPal macros, okay? That's no longer for me to see if you are tracking things correctly, but it's for that accountability piece. I'm in VIP membership. I have a coach still myself. I submit my macros every single day because that's the accountability piece. That's why I have a Facebook community group that I'm a part of, so that they can give me suggestions. We can share meals and recipes and encouraging words, but also so that I know at the end of the day I'm accountable to somebody and I have to post my macros. All right, so I want to encourage you throughout this next week to continue posting your macros. If you try some new foods or some new recipes and you want to share them, especially on our Low Carb Monday and Tuesday, then I really want to encourage you to do that as well. All right, so what we're going to focus on for today's training is carb cycling, all right? And it's going to start on Monday. So we're going to have low carbs Monday, Tuesday, And then the other 5 days of the week is going to be your regular macros. All right. Now, I'm telling you that Monday is Memorial Day, and that might be the day that you're enjoying a lot of friends and family and cookouts and things like that. So your goals for Monday may be just to stick with the things that you've been doing in the faster way. And on Tuesday, you're going to start the low carb. That is perfectly fine, okay? You have to give yourself some grace. And the reality is that Monday is a time that a lot of us are probably getting together with other people. Now, I will say, there are ways to eat low carb and go to cookouts, right? You can have a hot dog without the bun, preferably as unprocessed as you can get. Applegate are really good ones, and those are ones that I have. You can have a hamburger without the bun, right? I made mine the other day. We had hamburgers and I wrapped it in a big iceberg lettuce leaf and put the pickles and mustard and ketchup and stuff in that. So I still kind of was eating it like a hamburger, but it was wrapped in lettuce. So there are ways around it. How about we share some ideas and some meals with each other if you come across some that you think would fit within the low carb Monday. Okay, so if you think you can do it, then low carb Monday and Tuesday this week. If not, low carb Tuesday. You don't have to do it for 2 days in a row, okay? Give yourself some grace. Monday and Tuesdays are our low carb days because they're paired with HIIT workouts, which we're going to talk about. So if you don't happen to meet low carbs on Monday, that's okay. Do it Tuesday, and then you'll go back to your regular schedule on Wednesday. All right, so let's talk about carb cycling and why we even do carb cycles, okay? When we have carb cycles, we have 2 low carb days, and then the rest are our regular days. And the whole goal behind that is to deplete our glycogen stores, okay? I've talked about this, and if you've watched some of the videos in the portal or on your app, you've seen Amanda Tress talk about it. But your body transforms the carbs that we digest into glycogen, okay? That's the easily accessible energy in our muscles. So when we do a low carb day, what we're doing is depleting our glycogen stores. Our bodies want energy. They're using those carbs first, what our muscles have stored up. And then when there's no more glycogen stored up in our bodies, they go to fat. And that's how, over time, we shift our bodies from being sugar burners or burning those carbs, those glycogen stores nonstop, into fat burners, all right? So this cyclical process is what's going to start shedding that fat and leaning out those muscles, all right? So that's why we participate in it. How do we participate in it, okay? When you track your macros, your protein is going to stay the same. Remember, the protein is important because that is what builds our lean muscle, and that's what also feeds our body and keeps our body from eating our muscles, right? So hitting your protein targets does not change whether you're on a low macro day or whether you're on whether you're on a low carb day or a regular macro day. Your protein stays the same. For women, your net carbs goal is going to be 50. For men, your net carb goal is going to be 100. Now, the way that you figure out your net carbs is you take your total amount of carbs and you subtract the amount of fiber that you've eaten. So if I have 75 grams of carbs and I've eaten 25 grams of fiber, then my net carbs are 50 and I've hit my goal for the day. And the thing that I love about this is that it really encourages you to still eat fruits and vegetables, because those are the carbohydrate sources that you're going to eat that have tons of fiber in them. So the more fiber you eat, technically the more carbs that you can eat, because it's that net carb goal that we're looking at. So as far as fruit goes, berries are pretty much what I use on low carb days. They're what will fit in. Occasionally at the end of the day, if somehow I've just been really low on my carbs and I'm just sitting at like 20, I'll have an apple. Okay, so you can play around with that and see what fits in. And then some low carb veggies. Broccoli is great. I roast broccoli. I will put it in stir fry. I'll stir fry peppers. Mushrooms are great. Asparagus is good. All right, so the more of those fibrous vegetables and fruits that we eat, the more fiber we're getting, so technically the more carbs that we can have. All right, so your goal for carbs is going to be 50 net carbs, and then we're filling in the rest of our caloric values for the day with fat. For most people, that means you're going to double it plus about 5 to 10 grams. All right, so basically what you can do is, if you look at how many total calories you're supposed to eat for the day, you're still going to eat that many calories, even though we don't count calories, right? Remember, we said the macronutrients build up to your total number of calories. So basically, you're going to hit your protein goals. You're going to get 50 grams or less of carbs, net carbs, and then you're going to fill in the rest with fat. If you just want to go easy, you can double your fat. That's what I did when I was on my first 6 weeks. Once I went into VIP membership, I wanted to learn and know a little bit more and be a little more precise with what I was doing. And so I have a little calculator, macro calculator. So if you want me to figure that out for you, I can. I'm actually supposed to eat a little more fat than what I was eating before I used the little calculator. Now, I will say, especially in the beginning, when you're doing low carb days, it is going to be key to be pre-planning and to be thinking about your day, because it's going to be really hard for us to begin with to get in twice as many fats as what you've been getting in. So some great sources of those fats are chia seeds. The chia puddings are great for that. And you'll notice, I think if you look on it, they have 10 carbs, but they balance each other out. They have the same amount of fiber. So chia seeds are great. Coconut oil is a good choice. At the end of the day, occasionally, if I have a lot of fat left that I have to eat, I'll mix some almond butter with a tablespoon of melted coconut oil. And people call it a fat bomb. You can put like half a tablespoon of cacao powder and then some monk fruit sweetener, because that doesn't have any calories or carbs. And it's like, it seems really silly, but it's like a little melted fat bomb in a bowl that you can eat. But coconut oil is good to add into your smoothies too. Avocados are great to have on hand. They're great to add into your smoothies. They don't add any flavor, but they make it have like the creamiest texture. So those are great to have on hand. Think about eating your fattier meats on Monday and Tuesday. Okay, so you could go heavier on your hamburger meat. So if you get grass-fed beef, you could go 85-15 to get some more fat in, because I normally eat 93-7. Split, but I'll eat the 85-15 on Mondays and Tuesdays. Salmon is good. Chicken's going to help you get your protein, guys, but it is not going to help at all with the fat. So I tend to not have chicken on Mondays and Tuesdays, or if I do, I'll cook it in like avocado oil or olive oil to try to increase my fat. Or I'll have it in a Cobb salad where I'm adding in eggs and bacon and some fattier salad dressings. Remember, if we use salad dressing, we want to try to use healthier, less processed ones. Primal Kitchen has some great salad dressings. I'll try to do another video this weekend of some foods that I like to keep on hand for the low carb days. Let's see what else is good. Fattier meat, salmon. I think I've said all of that. So some good meals to do and to have on hand or a recipe. Cobb salads, like I said, I love. They're great. I usually have one of those Monday or Tuesday. Stir fry is really good, and I'll use steak because that adds the fat in there. And I usually do peppers, onions, and broccoli. Taco bowls are good. So the rest of my family might have nachos with theirs, or they might have burritos. You could do a taco or taco bowl. Reed, stop, please. And so those are some ideas. I'll try to find some of the recipes that I use on a regular basis and post them on here for you guys to see. All right, so let's talk just a little bit more about why we cycle. If there's such benefits to low carb days, then why do we only do those 2 days a week? And why do we not just do like a keto diet or a low carb diet? On the low carb days, we're teaching our bodies how to burn stored up body fat. On the high carb days, we're refilling those glycogen stores that we just depleted so that our muscles have easy access to energy to get us through our workouts and to support our hormones and to help build lean muscles, okay? So it's a nice balancing act that we're providing for our body. If we stayed in a low carb state indefinitely or for a long period of time, it really starts to mess up our thyroid. It starts to mess up our hormones. It releases cortisol into our bodies, which is like a stress hormone. It almost makes our bodies in a hyper stressed state for a long period of time, okay? And we don't want to do that. So those are the reasons why we cycle through. We kind of get the best of both worlds. We get the best of no carbs without hurting our body, and we get the best of eating carbs, okay? Our high carb days also increase our thyroid output. They help control hunger. They improve our insulin levels, and they also help your body store less fat, believe it or not, okay? So through this cycle, we're teaching our body how to burn anything that we have as a source of energy instead of always turning to those carbs, all right? Let's see, I'm looking at my notes. So the other thing, so that's a little bit of training of carb cycling and why we carb cycle. So let's talk about the workouts that we do. If you haven't already noticed, Monday and Tuesday are our high intensity interval training. So it's things like Tabata. It's things like every minute on the minute you're doing something. You could do sprint workouts, all right? Those are purposefully paired with our low carb days because they're going to help deplete those glycogen stores from our bodies, all right? And that's what we want to do. So if you're exchanging workouts, if you're doing a variety of different workouts and not necessarily all the ones that are provided for you on the faster way, I would really encourage you to either always do Mondays and Tuesdays or do sprint interval training on Monday and Tuesday. It's going to help burn that fat and build that lean muscle. But the awesome thing about HIIT too is it's an anaerobic exercise, and so it's burning fat long after we're ever done with the workout, okay? So there's some great benefits for that. And then you've also noticed that the other day, the 3 days a week, we have scroll into my part here. The other 3 days a week, we have our normal strength training exercises with regular macro days, okay? We don't want to lift heavy weights when we're doing low carbs, okay? So again, if you're exchanging those exercises out, we want high intensity workouts to be Monday, Tuesday, strength training days to be on your regular days. That's gonna build your muscle and lean things out. And then we always have 2 rest days built in, okay? All right. Reed gave me a note that said to tell him when he was done. So we always have 2 rest days built into our cycle as well. They're on Friday and they're on Sunday, right? Sandwiched right in between is our leg day. That's our biggest muscle group that we work on Saturdays. It's really important, and I was guilty of this, and it was so hard for me to overcome, to rest on Friday and Sunday. Friday's rest gives your muscles the energy that they need to perform well on Saturday. Sunday's rest gives your muscles the rest that they need to repair and to build. Okay, so those 2 days are really important. There's 2 workouts that are provided for you. There's a bar, or they just started Pilates on Friday, and then there's always yoga on Sunday. You can interchange those. You could do any yoga videos you like. You can also I'll do like long walks are fine. Riding a bike leisurely is fine, all right? So working in a garden is fine. It's still important to be active throughout your day, but as far as lifting heavy muscle, heavy weights, or doing high intensity training Friday and Sunday, it's really key for you to be low key with your muscles on those days, okay? And then that gets me to Saturday. Saturday's leg day, and it's my favorite day, not because it's leg day, but because it's treat day. So on Saturday, we're really working our legs and our glutes, which are our biggest muscles in our body. They're going to burn the most fat for us because they're such large muscle groups. And so that's why we incorporate a treat day on Saturday. Best practice is, what we recommend is to incorporate that treat into your macros. But if you choose not to count it, like tomorrow I'll have a treat and I told you guys I'm going to the lake, so I'm not going to factor it into my macros. That's okay. All right. So you can we recommend factoring it in most days, most Saturdays I do. All right. But if you choose not to, that's fine. That's your choice. We want this to be a livable, maintainable experience and lifestyle that you can have. All right, so make sure on Saturday you bring your game and you are ready to really work those muscles and to pump them. Sometimes when it's hard for me, I just think this is only 30 minutes out of my day. I'm doing it at the beginning of the day. I can get through it, all right? So that's a little bit about our workout cycle and about what your week is going to look like next Monday and Tuesday. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions. And then I just wanted to touch base on one thing before I let you go. And that is for those of you who might be struggling to still get your macros in. We've been tracking our macros in MyFitnessPal for about a week now, okay? If after a week you're still struggling to hit all 3 of your macros, your protein, your carbs, and your fat, and I mean like you're struggling, you might have a goal of 200 carbs and you're only getting 100 carbs. You might have a goal of 120 grams of protein and you're only hitting 60 or 70 grams. I want you to extend your eating window by a couple hours. I would much rather you be on a 14-hour fasted window and a 10-hour feeding window in order to get your macros in. Making sure your body has the fuel that it needs is the most important. We don't want to live in deprivation. We don't want to teach our bodies how to live in deprivation. Our bodies want to learn how to get in this place of homeostasis, okay? So they're trying to figure out what's she gonna feed me? How much do I need to store to have on reserves? So if you're constantly not feeding yourself enough, so you're constantly not hitting your macros, then your body starts to store the food that you're feeding it as fat because it's worried there's a famine state going on and it doesn't know if it's gonna have enough food or nutrients fueled to it every day, and so it's going to store and hold on to that fat. We don't want that to happen. We're trying to break that cycle, okay? So if you're struggling to get those macros in, the first step for you is going to be hit your macros, all right? I don't expect you to be perfect, but I do expect to see progress over time. So, if you've been increasing your macros by 20 grams, every few days, then you're on a good track. I wouldn't widen your fasted window. But if you have been struggling and you haven't really seen improvement in hitting those macros, no progress, then I want you to extend your fasted window. I want you to fast for 14 hours and I want you to eat for 10 hours and see if expanding your window helps you to get more of your macronutrients in. Once you start hitting your macros at that 14-10 cycle, then I want you to start closing that window again to get you back to a 16-8 cycle. But going through it kind of that way might help some of you that are really struggling to get your macros in. So yeah, if you have any questions or if you are getting ready for the Low Carb Monday, Tuesday, and you want to ask some questions, please send them my way. Again, comment with what your goals are going to be for this weekend for Memorial Day. I am so proud of each and every one of you. I have checked in with all of you. You all are making great progress. And remember that, okay? Celebrate the wins every day and every week because you are worth it. You made this decision for you. You wanted a healthier lifestyle. Think back to what that why was that you filled out on that Google form before we even got started, and check in with yourself, and let's reflect this weekend and think about how far we've come. Bye, guys.